Hey Running Medicine, I'm Jess and I am a student physical therapist over at UNM, and I'm going to show you some exercises today to help with knee pain. So knee pain is a super common thing in runners. I know I've had it before, and I think instinctively we often think that if our knee hurts we want to do stretches and strengthening that focus on our knee. But actually a lot of research has shown that exercises that target your glute muscles or the muscles in your buttocks, that's going to be more effective in reducing your knee pain that you get during running. This actually has been shown to help the alignment of your entire leg during running, so it will help with pain in your foot and help you run more efficiently as well. So I'm going to show you some examples of exercises. Let's get started. So the first exercise I'm going to teach you is the clamshell, which I'm sure a lot of you are already heard of, but I'm going to give you some tips on how to do it correctly. So you want to lay on your side, and one thing that's really important is to keep thinking about having this hip rolled forward, so you want to be in one plane. So when you're doing this, you don't want your hip to be rolling back like that. You want to keep it in line, so if anything, a little bit forward, and that's going to help target the correct muscles. You also want to think about keeping your rib cage tucked a little bit, so you don't want to be doing this and having a lot of extension through your lower spine here. So think about tucking your rib cage, and when you do that, you actually end up with a little hole that a mouse could go through underneath your side here. Then you want to think about just rotating at the hip. So you come up and down, really focusing on keeping that hip forward, and your neck should be relaxed during this as well with a little bit of a tuck. So trying to do this about 3 sets of 10 would be the target for this one. And if you find it too easy, you can even add a band around your knees to make the resistance harder. So the next exercise I'm going to show you is a bridge. And this one is super good for activating your glutes as well. So what you want to do is lie on your back, you can have your hands out in front of you, and you want to just squeeze between your butt cheeks, and that's going to lift your hips off the ground. Like that. And you can just hold this and then do repetitions, and again shooting for about reps of 10. To make this harder, you can actually just lift one leg off the ground like this, but it's really important that you keep your hips level while you're doing that. So you don't want your hips to drop down like that when you're doing it, and then you can just do the same thing, doing little mini lifts like that. You can also add a band around your knees, and that's going to make the resistance harder as well. And then you'll focus on pushing out against that band, squeezing between your butt cheeks to activate your glutes. So the next exercise I'm going to show you is the fire hydrant. So for this one, you want to be on all fours, and it's really important to try and keep a neutral position during this. So what I like to think about is just sort of gently drawing my belly button towards my spine. I'm going to keep my head in this neutral position with a little bit of chin tuck. Then you're going to lift up one leg. It's really important to try and keep your hips in a neutral position. So notice I'm not going all the way out like that to tip my hip down. I'm staying here so my hips are in a level plane. Then from here my foot's pointed down towards the floor, and I'm just going to kick my leg out like that. And it's really important, you want to feel it in this muscle right here, not in here in your hip. And for this exercise, it's really important to have the technique right so that you are targeting the correct muscle. So for this one, doing less reps is actually better as long as you're feeling it in the right spot, which is back here in your glute. So the next exercise I'm going to show you is donkey kicks, and I want you to think about the same thing as during the fire hydrant. So again, just gently tucking your belly button towards your spine, keeping that head in a neutral position. And you really want to think about keeping your hips level when you're doing this. So you're again going to bring one leg up, but I'm not going to go like that, keeping my hips in a level plane. And then I'm just going to kick my leg back like that. Again, really looking to feel it back here during that exercise. So another variation you can do of that last exercise is adding extension to it, so donkey kicks with extension. So again, going for that neutral position, coming up, hips are level, and you're going to kick all the way back. So now that you're still down here on all fours, we'll do one more exercise. So this is called bird dogs. You might have heard of it before, and there are a lot of different variations, but what I want you to focus on in this one is not having a lot of motion through your back or your spine while you're doing this. So again, you're really keeping that neutral position. So coming in, you want your belly button towards your spine, your chin tucked, and you're gonna lift up one arm and the opposite leg and reach towards opposite directions, really focusing on not letting your hips rotate. So notice I'm not doing that while I'm doing it. I'm really keeping level, and I'm reaching to that corner and then reaching the opposite direction with my leg. And then coming back in. And then you can even do that again on the other side, really focusing on staying level. All right, so now I'm going to show you a progression. If you do have a band at home, this is a great one to do. So I've just tied my band around just above my kneecaps here. What I want you to focus on for all of these is pushing out against the band with your knees, having your toes pointing forward, and your knee is going to be in line with your toes during this. So you just want that slight outward pressure, and that's going to help activate your glutes. And so you can kind of do a progression on your own. I like to do just 15 steps in each direction and do a couple ways. So first I will show you just walking. I'm going to walk forward, and then I can go backwards. Then you can go side to side. So you can go one direction, and then back the other direction. Always thinking about keeping that pressure pointed outwards. That's going to help activate the correct muscles. Another variation you can do is, instead of keeping your feet wide the whole time, you come in and take a step out. And then you can do that the opposite direction as well.